Okay, thank you. Welcome to the North Florida Poetry Hub's July monthly chapter meeting. North Florida Poetry Hub is the local chapter of Florida State Poets Association. And today we have a very special guest speaker. He's a poet, painter, songwriter, editor, and publisher of Big Bridge Press and Big Bridge, a web zine of poetry and everything else. In 2011, he and Terri Carrion co-founded the global poetry movement, 100,000 Poets for Change. He's here today to share with us this worldwide movement for peace and sustainability. So without further ado, I give you Michael Rothenberg.
Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Thank you for having me as your guest. And thank you for your interest in 100,000 Poets for Change program. I'll give you a little bit of a background about what it's about, how it started, and then we can look about where we're going to go in the future, what we can do together. In 2011, I was pretty upset about the way things were going at the time in the world. We had two wars. The Gulf of Mexico was on fire. There were a lot of things that were problematic. And I felt that in general, the poetry community had kind of disappeared in some way. It was a sense I had. I felt they had become, say, less engaged than I had been used to when I was growing up. I grew up in the 60s, and poets that I knew were always involved in the political, social discussion. And so I was feeling at that time, 11 years ago, that I didn't know where anyone was and why everybody wasn't just absolutely in a rage over the things that were going on in the world. And there were people, it's just the community wasn't, I didn't feel the community and from where I was. And I was telling a friend about that, and I said there ought to be 100,000 poets for change. And she said, that's a great idea. And I thought to myself, sure, another great idea. That's what I need, another great idea, something else to do. It's like I've been fighting the way things are for my whole life. And now I'm going to do something, take on another task. But I got off the line with her and I was saying, you know what, just to prove that nobody cares, I'm going to put out a call. I'm going to create an event page in 100,000 called 100,000 Poets for Change on Facebook. And I'm going to ask people, would you be interested in organizing an event sometime during the year, simultaneously, a poetry reading, anything, with a focus on peace, justice, and sustainability. And pretty fast, I had 3 or 4 or 5 people say, yeah, great, count me in, that sounds cool. A couple of people, around the United States, one person in Mexico. And then as I went down to speak to Terri, and my wife, and said, hey, I posted this thing and we've got like 5 people. It's kind of cool. She's like, aren't you tired already? I thought you were going to quit doing all this stuff and like do something else. And I was like, well, it's like nice that people are here. And then that by the end of the week, maybe there was 30 or 40. And I said, Terri, look, that's a lot of people. Look, there's someone here from Egypt. There's someone here from India. They're saying they're in. She says, well, she's looking at it. She's going, wow, that's pretty kind of cool. Yeah, I said, I don't know what to do about it. I guess we'll do it. I guess need to set a date. So we set the last Saturday of September as the date. I think it was in March that I had begun. And so she said, I'll set up a website and we'll list the events and people can send us information about themselves and we'll keep track of it. But I don't know, and I was kind of like enthusiastic, I was kind of enthusiastic. And so by September, there was 700. And by that time, I was crazy. I mean, there's groups all over the world. Yeah, I mean, everywhere in the world, you know, China, Zimbabwe, Egypt. It just went viral, and there were all these people, and they were sending me videos and about how, it's one woman from Jamaica who recorded the video at home talking about why this is important and why we need to have 100,000 poets for change. And it was amazing. The night before that day, 13 people from Mongolia signed up in one group from all over the country, radio stations, and it was phenomenal. And I was excited, and I was very happy, and I'm very emotional. And so we did have the event, and we had posters coming in from everywhere, posters from all over, beautiful posters. So we created a poster gallery. It started to make things real. It wasn't just people with their email address, but I saw their creative expression, how each country manifests their vision through art. And so I was getting a little view of that through posters, 100,000 musicians for change, a punk rock group in Serbia, things like that, mimes for change in Egypt, and things like that. And wow. So we set it up. I heard from Stanford University, and they had said that they had heard about 100,000 Poets for Change, and they were very interested in helping me archive it, because in their view, it was the largest poetry reading in history that they knew of, that they had recorded, and they wanted to document it. So we started collecting videos and so forth, and Stanford set up a way of scanning the website with something, a Their Locks program, and provided me with a space on Archive It where we could upload large videos. People wanted to send videos of their readings, 5, 6, 7 hour videos, 2 hour video, whatever people sent. And so we had amassed a large amount of documentation about the event. Fast forward 5 years, and the idea came up: let's do a conference where we can meet for real. And we met in Italy, and there was about 100 people came, which I thought was pretty amazing, considering that we were not sponsored by a large corporation or have the sanctions of some sort of large literary institution, that it was just us. And we had people showing up from India and Egypt and Mexico and Lithuania. And it was one of the greatest times I've ever had. We spent 4 days doing roundtable discussions about what we cared about, who we were. We had dances, we had buffets, we had day trips. We went to Pompeii and to Amalfi, and we spent readings in the street and night readings, and we had a really wonderful time and became very close. And what happened over the time is that people started to talk more about political issues, what they cared about, and did things like fundraisers or a river cleanup, published each other's poetry and books, and got to know, more interested in an international scene of literature, speaking about what other people were doing and knowing more about what other people's concerns. Basic principles that I set up early on that I thought were key was that there's no such thing as an exclusive, meaning if you were in San Francisco and you wanted to do an event, fine. If someone else wanted to do an event in San Francisco, fine. We had 23 events in San Francisco. If they wanted to do separate events, they could. If they wanted to do together, they could. That's up to them. It's not for me to decide and to try to create some kind of centralized authority over how communities want to organize. When it came to the subject of the events, that's another thing that we left open. We said, peace, justice, and sustainability are our guidelines. No neo-Nazis, no racists. I mean, this is not, the change we're talking about is this kind of positive change centered around peace, justice, and sustainability. And that if you in Zimbabwe want to do something on hunger or on gender equality, I'm not going to say, no, you can't do that. I'm not going to say, well, the global specific theme is going to be homelessness or something. No, I didn't do that either. So no exclusives. And the local community knows best what its local concerns are. And it is up to the local community to make a distinct determination about what they want their issues to be. So that's that. And also, I emphasize the fact that this was not a Michael Rothenberg, Terri Carrion leadership. This is Michael Rothenberg, Terri Carrion providing a platform for your leadership, and that to de-emphasize centralized authority, leader thing. We're there to help, but we're not here to be the center of center attraction. That it's a local community deal. It's up to you. You establish your community, what you care about, what your event should look like, what you want, and just send me the documentation, and we'll all be together. And hopefully, other people will see what you care about, and maybe it will mobilize everyone to do better work, to be better organizers, and to know more about the literary community in the world, our community. So that kind of gives you an overview. We're now into our 11th year, and we're still going strong. The numbers are down from the past. Some of that is just, I think that the first year there was a surprise and novelty, and there was a lot of people didn't know what other people were doing. As years went along, I think some of the groups consolidated, so that 25 groups in San Francisco became 5. And so that and a lot of those people migrated to other events. So it's taken a natural, organic movement. During COVID time, we've had to emphasize that we could do virtual. And last year, actually, we as the leaders, or the founders, whatever, said we did do 4 readings. We've never done something like that just to keep everybody. And we did four readings over the summer to keep everybody involved and let them know that we were still here, still doing the thing, bring them in and try to keep the message going. This year is a mixed bag because, as you know, COVID is a mixed bag. And we've got the situation is some people can have something outside, they're not concerned, and other people wouldn't gather for, at all. And that's fine. It's fine. It was never required that it had to be live. So going to virtual is whatever's convenient. It's always been mixed. So right now, the message is virtual or face-to-face, whatever's best for you, whatever feels safe for you based on your local conditions. And so that's how it's going. I think that kind of covers it all. We're still taking posters, still taking videos. You can send this recorded message or one of your recorded sessions if you do. Or you can send your recorded Zoom sessions to me. Posters, photographs of participants, put together a PDF of the poems that you read. I'll upload all that stuff and add that to the archive. I'm very, very happy to have you involved, and I'm very, very excited about the strength of your community. And it's another thing that I'm finding out. It's like there is a rotation. I'm learning communities come forward. It's like people are coming to me to this day going, "Oh, I never heard of 100,000 Poets for Change. I never heard of it. I know about it. How is that possible?" And it's like, who knows? 1 year before, 1 year, suddenly we had 20 events in Italy, and there was only like 1 there. I don't know how communication spreads, or why suddenly a community will come forward and show their involvement and express interest in participation. But we keep on going, and we're still here, and we're really happy to have you with us. And I welcome any questions you might have about the movement and about what we're planning for the future. I can't hear you, Ruth. You're muted, I think.
Oh, sorry about that. Thank you so much, Michael. That's awesome. I'm going to stop the recording now, and then we'll have the questions and answers.